Welcome back to the shop. I've got a new belt sander, at least for the near term. I plan on giving it to my little brother. It's a 1x30. You've all seen it in everybody else's channel. Scout Crafter has been using his. They've got to be remarkably well made. I couldn't begin to imagine how many hours he's got on his. But I'm surprised by it, and I'm just going to cover a couple things about it that I found interesting, because comparatively speaking, I have the 1x42-inch Meade, which has been a great machine, and I also have the Kalamazoo, which I think is also a nice machine. However, I don't use it very often, and that's probably, well, I'll discuss it briefly later. But what I want to do now is, just a comparison, I've got roughly, 3 relatively new belts on. I think they're all about 120 grit. And I'm just going to do a little speed test. And the speed test, I think, is going to show in favor of the 1x30. It is much more capable than I had anticipated, being a small Harbor Freight thing. I think it might actually be more powerful than these other, well, maybe not the Kalamazoo, but anyway, I just want to show you that this is an impressive little machine. So hopefully I can demonstrate that. Well, I'd have to say that that machine is every bit as capable as these machines. The only difference, I think, would be that the latitude, the ability to get work in behind here, is a little bit more constrained. It's obviously better than this machine, the Kalamazoo, but on the Meade, see if I can do this one-handed, I've got the ability to push that back, and then that gives me quite a bit of room. So if you've got something oddball shaped, you can get it in there. I've got a set of Diamaloy small form factor lineman pliers. They seem to be in pretty good shape, but I'm just going to tinker around here with the different belt sanders and then develop a better impression of how I like these. And maybe I'll shoot a little film along the way. So this machine, after using that little bit of video you just saw on there, I think this machine is probably all you really need. I can say that I do like. I'm not sure what this is like with the original Platen. I know most people have it taken off, but I do like the space that these other machines afford you, and like they talk about, like the side of a wire wheel, the sweet spot, having the Platen here to push against, the additional tension here versus you find yourself working up and down all over the machine, and having the Platen there all the time, I think is nice, and having all this different area is useful. However, these machines are nearly impossible to get now. I think maybe you get one on eBay, but shipping would probably kill you. You just have to luck into getting one of these, and the Kalamazoos are much more expensive. But the neat thing about this little Harbor Freight machine is that if you're trying to sharpen something, this is going to be a little awkward. You're in there, and that's the problem with all these machines. I think the Kalamazoo, if I were to disassemble it, I could reassemble it and have it lay flat. But I was watching some YouTube videos, and the guy turned this thing around and started using it like that. And I was amazed. Just absolutely amazed. It makes it so much more convenient to be able to look and see what you're doing and not have this thing sitting upright. It's just unnatural. So I think just this benefit alone of being able to turn it on its side and use it is really a leg up on either this machine having to disassemble it and reassemble it, and of course the Meade, I don't have that option at all. So that's my little tutorial on these things. And for those of you that care, I'm going to talk about some of the other stuff I've been working on. Alright, well, I have been lax on posting videos. It's amazing how caught up I can get in these little projects. This is an unanticipated project. I bought these two scooters from the auction. This is fuel injected. They're both 50cc, 49cc. They had been parked since 2007 with no regard to fuel in them. So the fuel pumps were bad. The injectors were clogged. Carburetors were shot out. So I put a new carburetor in that one, new fuel pressure regulator and fuel pump, new fuel pumps in both of them, I believe. And I've had the garage has just been a disaster, more so than typical. So I've had the shop just completely torn apart. And today is the first day that I've actually got these things back together, and I'm trying to get the shop back under control. It's been you know, just a hot mess with these bikes. And if the shop wasn't busy enough, I won that 1x30 belt sander and then this scroll saw. I had another scroll saw that my mother got me when I was like 12 or 13. And it got broken in the move, so I was really disappointed about that. But I'm going to order some blades for this. And anyway, I don't do a lot of scroll saw work, but I think they're interesting tools. So I've got to do something with that. And I've been, believe it or not, the bench is cleaner now than it's been in quite a while. It's just been super busy, and watching some of the videos, you know, watch some John Crane and get inspired to do a little sewing. So I like to make covers for the back of the truck so people can't see in. I think I may have covered this before, but I just went ahead and sewed some, don't judge me, I was just sewed a couple tag ends on there so that I could have that cover up, and it keeps the ropes out of the sun, makes them a little stronger, the straps and whatnot. And then if I have anything in the back of the truck, people aren't inclined to snag it out of there. Yard's been doing pretty good. The ryegrass has held up nicely. And I've got my garden. I'll go ahead and give you a quick peek of my garden. Here's my seed starter kit. I've got quite a few different kinds of tomatoes and hot peppers in there. There's 72 individual trays inside that one mechanism, or that one box. I got rid of the old garden. I use the fabric pots. I like fabric pots because they air prune. When the roots hit the outside of the, you know, the bag, they stop growing, unlike a plastic pot where the roots just keep growing and growing and growing. So you end up getting more fruit out of it and less roots. So I've got everything pretty much cleaned up. I've got some of the bigger pots that I'm going to amend the soil in. Those are 50-gallon fabric pots. I'll add some cow manure to those and transplant some of the, probably put beans in those pots. And the rest will be fabric pots. But I plan on actually putting some effort into this year's garden, so we'll see how that works out. Got my muscadine grape. Lost all its leaves during the winter time. Hopefully we get some muscadine grapes this year. But that's about all I've got going on right now, so I just wanted to get some content up. And thanks for watching.